Happy Thursday, everybody. I hope you are having a fabulous day. Stacy here from Mindful Parenting for Sensitive Children. And in today's video, we are going to talk about what to do when your child is feeling anxious about going back to school. First of all, if your child is feeling anxious about going to school, they aren't alone. There are lots of reasons why a child might feel anxious about school, and especially if we're thinking about the beginning of a new school year. Kids have been out of school all summer and either at home with you or another caregiver or having fun at camp with their friends. And now they have to get back into a more structured routine with often little information about what will be expected from them in a new grade and with a new teacher. It makes sense that they might feel nervous. And while anxiety by itself is often enough for us to try and navigate as their parent, often anxiety can trigger behaviors that are also tricky for us to deal with. The thing is, when our nervous system feels threatened, whether the danger is real or imagined, if we don't feel like we have the support and resources to deal with this threat, then our fight, flight, freeze response is often triggered to help mobilize resources and protect us from the danger. When it comes to sensitive kids, their nervous system is already on high alert for potentially dangerous situations. They aren't trying to be dramatic. They aren't being intentionally shy or difficult. Whatever behaviors you're seeing on the outside, like tantrums or crying at drop off, hiding, or refusing to cooperate when it comes time to leave the house, those are simply a reflection of the state of their nervous system on the inside. Most people think that the way to solve this problem is to tackle the behavior. But that isn't going to be helpful if you never take a step back and find out why the behavior is happening in the first place. Again, all behavior is communication. If they had the skills and the capacity to communicate what they're feeling with words instead of behavior, they would do that. So, how do we soothe the nervous system so that it doesn't feel the need to trigger that stress response? The best antidote to an amped up nervous system is connection. When kids feel seen and heard and understood, it goes a long way toward helping them feel like they can handle the situation. So, how do you do that? Start with empathy. Empathize with how they're feeling, even if you have to take a guess as to what that is. I find with my son that when I guess correctly, the floodgates open and he's able to release all of those uncomfortable feelings that are sitting inside him. The main thing to remember is that once you identify how they're feeling, don't dismiss it, even if it seems silly or trivial to you. However they're feeling is very real to them. You want to name how they're feeling and validate it by saying something like, it makes sense that you feel this way. When you've empathized and validated and some of the emotion has passed, then you can work on problem solving together. Often kids are anxious because they don't know how they'll handle a particular situation, like maybe having no one to sit with at lunch or finding out that all of their friends are in another class. Visualize together how they might handle that situation. Similarly, spending dedicated time in the morning, even just 5 minutes, completely focused on your child and connecting with them, can help fill their buckets, so to speak. This is really helpful for pretty much any parenting situation. If your child is particularly anxious at drop off, it can be helpful to connect with the teacher and let them in on the challenges that your child is facing. I know I had this conversation many times with parents during my teaching years. As a teacher, by connecting with a child when they first got to school, I was really able to ease that transition. Often, I also connected with parents to let them know that their child was doing fine, because as parents, we worry about that as well. And finally, this is more of a practical tip, but if your child is not getting enough sleep, it will be really hard for them to have the resources to cope with separation. Making sure your child is getting enough rest is important, but it's often overlooked. I'd love to know, is there anything else that you would add to this that you found helpful? Feel free to add it in the comments. If you found this video helpful, I would love if you could hit the like button and share with your friends. That is it from me for this week. I will see you in the next one. Bye, everybody.